Shalom and welcome to this week's Hebrew class. And as we have been doing for some time, we're going through the book of John in Hebrew. And in Hebrew, it can be called Yehuchanan or Yochanan, and in English, John. And we're in chapter 6. And we will cover verses 5 to 8. So let us begin. And as we can see, we have a chart with the valve marks and these great resources which we would encourage you to use. They'll help you understand the basis of the words. So we begin. And we start with a hey, which has a value of 5, as it's the 5th letter of the alphabet, remembering that each letter has a numerical value. So let's go through the letters. Vav, Yod, Sin, because the dot's on that side, Aleph, Yod, Hey, Vav, Shin, Ayin, Aleph, Tav, Ayin, Yod, Nun, Yod, Vav, Vav, Yod, Resh, Aleph, Ayin, Mem, so Fit, which is Mem at the end of a word, Resh, and Vayet. Remembering that certain letters have a different form when they're at the end of a word. And of course the Aleph here is silent, as it is here. That's why it's in white. So now let us read. Va-yisa. Va-yisa, and he lifted up. And that comes from nasa, which is a cul verb to carry, to lift, to bear. And as I've noted here is above, the nun is dropped. So every now and then you'll see letters dropped, and we just got to work out what's the root. And then we have Yahushua or Yahusha, and he lifted up, and then who, Yahushua, et grammar marker, a nave, his eyes, with the vav being his, vayar, and he saw, meaning people, Rav can mean many. And if we look down here, I've put here many people. So Yeshua lifted up his eyes and saw many people. And the root for eye is ayin. It's a feminine noun. It can mean eye, but they can use it also to mean look or appearance. So we're going to read that now without any help. And so we read, Va-yi-sa, Yahushua et a naiv, Vayar Rav. And of course the translation, and he lifted up Yahusha, grammar marker his eyes, and he saw many people. And so we come to part B, and we have a bet. An aleph, lamed, yod, vav. Vav, yod, aleph, mem, resh, aleph, lamed, pei, because of the dot, yod, lamed, pei again, vav, samek, mem, aleph, yod, nun, sofit, nun at the end of a word. Ba, now we know that it comes from bo, which is to come, but it's ba, it's a perfect form, and that can mean coming or it can mean came. So coming as being the present tense, because in Hebrew we only have perfect and imperfect, so we use coming. Eliv, unto him, again, the vav is him, and el meaning to. Va yomer, and he said, el to Pilipos, which is translated to Philip. Me'ayin, where or from where. So the translation is, seeing that a large crowd was coming to him, said to Philip, where? And I've given you ayin, which can also mean as a masculine noun, nothing, nil, naught. But generally they translate me'ayin as an adverb from where or from whence. So you can almost say from naught, from nowhere, so to speak. But here it is translated as from where or where. And so we read this section. Ba elaiv vayomer el pilipos me ayin. And I just want to stress that when we have a kamatz, it's a longer A sound, and when we have a zere, it's a longer one. And whereas this is a shorter form, and that's a shorter form. So when we say this, we say ba, elaiv. So they're a little bit longer sounds. Just getting you used to that concept of longer vowels and shorter ones. So the translation, coming unto him, and he said to Philip, where? Or from where? From whence? Because down here we've got from where or from whence. And so we come now to 5C, and we have a nun. Kuf, nun, hey, lamed, hey, memsafid, lamed, chet, memsafid, lamed, aleph, kaf, and lamed. And we have nik, nay, la, hem. So now I've added, we can buy for them. It literally means to buy. If we look down here, kana is a kol verb to buy, to purchase, to acquire. And I've also given you nik, na, which is a verb to be purchased, to be bought. And then it is lechem. Lechem. Right, that's his bread. Le'ekol, for eating. Why did I use for eating? Because usually with the cholam up there, it's a participle form. So for eating, participle form. Whereas the root of it is akal, which is a kal verb, to eat, to consume. And so we have this translation. Where shall we buy bread so that these may eat? And I've given you an added note. Nikne can be seen as a nifilled, sequential, perfect paradigm. And that's what we get from the grammar, once we understand the grammar a bit better. And so we can read it. Nikne, lahem, lechem, le'ekol, and the translation. We can buy for them bread for eating. Or literally where, from before, where to buy for them. And then we come to 6. It's represented with a vav, which is the 6th letter of the alphabet. And then we go through letters. Vav, aleph, kaf, sofit. Kaf at the end of a word. Lamed, nun, samek, vav, tav. Aleph, tav, vav. Dalet, beit, resh. Zion, aleph, tav. Kaf, yod, hey, vav, aleph, yod, dalet, ayin. Again, ayin is in white, so it's not pronounced. So we read, ve'ak, and yet. So how do we get that? Ak is a conjunction, but, however, nevertheless, or yet. So we could say and yet or and nevertheless. Le, na, sot, to test. But it's a construct form, meaning it's connected to the next part. It's a connecting one. So it comes from nisa, which is a PL verb to try or to test. So to test, oto, which means him, diber zot, he spoke this, because we know diber is like to speak. So he spoke this. Ki, for, who, he, yada, knew, or he knew. And so, and this he said to test him, for he knew. And so we can read that again. Ve'ak, le'na, sot, Oto diber zot ki hu yada. And yet to test him, he spoke this, for he knew. And now we come to part B. We have an aleph, a tav, an aleph, a shin, a resh, a yod, an ayin, a sin, and a hey. And we read it. Et, that's a grammar marker. A shir, what? Now remembering a shir can be what, can be that, it can be who, whom, which, what. And so we're using it as what here. What say he would do. What is it he would do? The yod gives us an imperfect form. It means something not yet done. So he would do. For he himself knew what he was intending to do. And the root of asar is a kal verb, to do, to produce, to make. And so we read that now. Et ashir ya'aseh. Grammar marker, what he would do. And so we now come to 7a. It's represented with a Zion, the seventh letter of the alphabet. And then we go through the letters. Vav yod, ayin nun sofit. Aleph tav vav. Pei yod lamed, pei vav samek. Lamed chet mem savit, beit mem aleph, tav yod mem sofit, dalet yod nun resh. And we read it. Vaya an. And he answered. Now what's the root of that? It's ana, meaning to answer, but the hay has dropped off the end. And he answered. Oto, which is him. Pilipos, translated as Philip. Lechem, bread. Bematayim, in hundreds. Now, they normally translate with 200. And why is that? We looked at it. Me'ah is a feminine noun meaning 100. And matayim is actually the plural form. So plural form of 100 is generally translated as 200. But it can be used as hundreds as well. Because it might be like 500. Well, then it's not 200. It would be hundreds then. But in this case, we're talking about, it just tells us 200. And then we have dinar, translated as denari. So Philip answered him 200 denarii worth of bread. So now I've given you a note. A denarii was approximately the wage of an average labourer for one day. And so let us read that now. Vaya'an oto pilipos lechem bematayim dinar. And he answered him, Philip, bread with 200, let's use that, denarii, or in 200. And so we come to 7b. And we have a lamed and aleph, yod, mem, zade, aleph, lamed, kuf, chet, tav, lamed, hey, mem, safit, aleph, yod, shin, aleph, yod, shin, mem, ayin, tet. And we read it, lo, which means not. Yimsa, shall be found. It could be shall find or shall be found. Right, we looked at it, matzah, it's a kal verb to find, to discover. And then we have la kachat, to take. I've used that because lakach as a kal verb means to take, to acquire. Lahem, for them, not to be confused with bread, because that's a hey, not a chet, right? Lahem, for them. Ish, ish. Now, when they repeat that, it's often translated each man or each person. Me'at. Me'at meaning a little. If we look down here, me'at, it's an adjective. It means little, few, or minimal. And of course, the translation is, with 200 denarii is not sufficient for them for everyone to receive a little. So let us now read it. Lo yimsa la kachat la hem ish me'at. Not shall be found to take for them each man or person a little. So now we come to 8, and we see it's represented with a chet. The chet has a value of 8 because it's the 8th letter of the alphabet. And so we go through the letters. Vav Yod, Aleph Mem Resh, Aleph Lamed Yod Vav, Aleph Chet Dalet, Mem Tav Lamed, Mem Yod Dalet Yod Vav, Vav Hey, Vav Aleph, Aleph Nun, Dalet Resh Yod. So why is the Aleph coloured in, whereas it isn't there? There it's not pronounced. Here it takes on the vowel sound. So we read, Va-yo-mer, and he said, Elev, unto him, Echad, one, Mital Midayev, from his disciples, the who, and he, and I've added was, under translated as Andrew. So one of his disciples, Andrew, said to him, and I've given you also Talmid, which is a masculine noun meaning student, pupil, disciple, or follower. And so now we can read that. Vayomer, Elev, Echad, Mital Midayev, Vahu Andere. And the translation, and he said unto him one from his disciples, and he was Andrew. Remembering we are now talking about the episode of the feeding of the 5,000, and that's where we're coming to. So now we come to part B of 8, and we have an Aleph, a Chet, a Yod, Shin Mem, Ayin Vav, Nun So Fit, Kaf, Fe, Aleph, and we read it, Achi, meaning the brother of. Now what's interesting that actually the title for brother is Ach. It's a masculine noun, means brother, sibling, countryman. But it's interesting that Achi can be translated as brother, or in context, it can be also translated as my brother. But in the sentence structure, here it's used as the brother. And it is Shimon, which we know is Simon in English, Kefa, which means Peter in English. So we read it, Achi, Shimon, Kefa. The brother of Shimon, Kefa. And so now we come to our revision, just to see how we've taken hold of this section and how much we know. So we know we've got a hey, so we know we're in the 5th verse. And then we read, Va-yi-sa, and he lifted up. Yeshua, that's who, et, grammar marker, a naive, his eyes, Vayar, and he saw, people rav many, or many people. And he lifted up Yeshua, grandmark his eyes, and he saw many people. Ba, coming, elev, unto him, vayomer, and he said, El to Pilipos, Philip, me'ayin, from where? Coming unto him, and he said to Philip, from where? Nikne lahem, to buy, where to buy, for them. To buy for them, lechem bread, le'ekol, for eating. And then we have a vav, which has a value of 6. Then we have ve'ak, and yet, le'nasot, to test, oto, him, diber zot, he spoke this, ki, for, who, he, yada, knew. And yet to test him, he said this, for he knew, et, grammar marker, ashir, what, say, he would do. So it could be he shall do, but same thing, he would do. Grammar marker, what he would do. And then we have a Zion, which has a value of 7, being the 7th letter of the alphabet. Vaya'an, and he answered, Oto, him, Pilipos, Philip, lechem, bread, be'matayim, in or with 200, denarii. And he answered him, Philip, bread with 200 denarii. And we're in part B. Lo not yimtza, shall be found. La kachat, to take. Lahem, for them. Ish, each man or person. Me'at, a little. Not shall be found to take for them, each man or person, a little. And then we have a chet, which has a value of 8, being the 8th letter of the alphabet. Vayomer, and he said, Elev, unto him, echad, one, me tal me dayev, from his disciples, who, and he, and I've added was, Anderei, Andrew. And he said unto him, one from his disciples, and he was Andrew. Achi, the brother of Shimon, Simon, Kepha, Peter, the brother of Simon Peter. And now that finally brings us again to the vowel marks, just to confirm that we understand that a kamatz is a longer sound. So when we say it, it's kamatz. And then we have patak, which is a shorter A. Zere, which is longer. Segol, which is shorter. Shiva, which breaks the word into its syllables. Then we have cholam, that's the O sound. Shuruk, which is like a shorter U sound. And then we have kubutz, which is a longer U sound. Then we have a combination of shavar and segol, which is after the syllable, we have the segol. Then we have chirek, which is the I sound. Then we have kataf, patak. After the shavar, we have the shorter A. And then we have kataf, comes after the Shava, a longer A. And finally, in our slide, we have the resources, and I want to encourage you that by using these, it will help you so much in your learning. And the dictionary is also imperative because you can look up what you think is the three-letter root or so and then see what the meaning truly is. And then I've given you the chart, of course, with all the different letters. So we're going to do it in a sort of reverse type order. We have a Kuf, which has a value of 100, a Resh 200, Shin 300, Tav 400, Mem 40, Nun 50, Samek 60, Ayin 70, Pei 80, Zade 90, Zion 7, Chet 8, Tet 9, Yod 10, Kaf 20, Lamed 30, Aleph 1, Vayet 2, Gimel 3, Dalet 4, Hey 5, and Vav 6. And that is just to get us used to the letters. And as you can see on this chart, we also have the ancient forms of the letters, which is a really early sort of form of the letters, where we see a calf is like a palm, and it means to open, to allow, to tame, yeah. So they have some sort of helpful explanation, like lamed is like a shepherd's staff, which it means like leader or teacher or to teach. So it's interesting that the ancient ones have quite interesting meanings. And we do pray that you are blessed by going through these lessons, because we do this each week so we get a better knowledge of the Lashon HaKodesh, the Holy Tongue. And we believe it to be special. And we just pray you're blessed by this. In Yeshua's great and glorious name, we pray you have a great week. And so we say to you, Shavua Tov, a good week.